Mexican chicken lasagna. Today I'm sharing my easy Mexican-style chicken lasagna recipe. This is a delicious tortilla casserole. It's mild and cheesy, perfect comfort food. These are the ingredients that you'll need for the Mexican chicken lasagna. You need 2 potatoes. You'll need some olive oil, 1 onion, 2 chicken breasts, 2 pints or 1 liter of tomatoes with the juice. I use my home canned tomatoes. And in my little bowl here, I have my seasonings. I have half a tablespoon of cumin, that's about 3 grams. I have 1/4 teaspoon of powdered oregano, but I can't give it to you in grams because it doesn't show up on my scale. If you don't have powdered oregano, you can use half a teaspoon of dried oregano. I also have half a teaspoon of salt, that's 5 grams. You're also going to need some cheddar cheese. I have about 450 grams, that's about a pound. And you're going to need 5 large flour tortillas. The first thing I'm going to do is peel my potatoes. This is optional. If you want to keep the peels on, that's fine. I just like them peeled. Okay, I'm going to give those a little bit of a rinse, and then I'm going to chop them. Okay, now I'm going to chop my potatoes. Now that my potatoes are chopped, I'm going to transfer them into a pot, fill up the pot with water and bring it to a boil, and boil my potatoes for about 25 minutes. While my potatoes are boiling, I'm going to prepare my onion and my chicken. So I'll just chop my onion. My knife could use some sharpening, that's for sure. Let's chop up that chicken. You can chop it in big pieces, small pieces, whatever you like. I like to have nice small pieces. My cutting board just moved, sorry about that. And I'm just going to put them onto a little plate here. The pieces of chicken, that is. I've drained my potatoes and set them aside. Now I'm going to put my olive oil into my pan, and I've got it on a medium heat, just to heat up that oil. Now I'm going to add my onions. Come on, little fella. There we go. And I'm going to cook my onions for about 7 minutes until they're soft and translucent. Now you want to add your chicken and cook it for another 5 minutes until the chicken is mostly visibly white. Now I'm going to add my potatoes and cook that for another 5 minutes. Just going to turn the heat up a little bit. I had to turn it down because parts of my chicken were browning a little too quickly for me. So I'll put that back up to medium heat, let that cook for 5 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to preheat my oven to 375 Fahrenheit. That's 190 Celsius or gas mark 5. Now I'm going to add my tomatoes. I'm going to chop them up a little bit. And I'm going to turn my heat up to high because I want to bring this mixture to a boil and then simmer it. So I'll just chop up some of my tomatoes here. And I'm going to add my seasonings as well. Let's mix that all up. It smells so good. All right, once that starts boiling, I'm going to turn it down to a simmer, and I'm going to simmer it until it gets quite thick because I'd like a lot of that liquid to boil off. Well, this has been simmering for 15 minutes, and as you can see, most of the liquid has boiled off. So now I'm going to begin layering my Mexican chicken lasagna. Now we're going to begin layering our lasagna, and I just wanted to let you know that I have this nice Pyrex dish here. It's a round one, so it's perfect. The tortillas fit perfectly in it. That's why I like to use it. Just in case you're curious about the dimensions, the diameter is 8.5 inches wide, and it's 2.5 inches high, all right? And on the bottom of this dish, it says that it's 2.5 liters and 2.5 quarts. So that should give you an idea of the size of pan that you can use. I've made this in a square pan, and all I've done is I've maybe used some more tortillas and I've cut them in half just to make sure that they fit on the bottom of the square pan. So let's begin. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 tortillas on the bottom because I find it falls apart if you just put one. Everything gets really, really, you know, soggy in there when you have all this stuff. And now I'm going to put a layer of that chicken potato tomato mix as I drop it all over my counter. Reality TV, right? I can't even describe how amazing this smells. And this is a messy meal. It's a comfort meal. We're not going to have a perfect looking piece of lasagna at the end, you know, because like I said, comfort food. Now I've got my cheddar, and I'm going to just put a little layer of cheddar on top. Little, who am I kidding? I love cheese. So we're going to load on the cheddar. Now just remember, with the cheddar, you're doing 3 layers because we're going to do a second layer exactly the way we've done this one. And then we're going to put a tortilla on top and then top it with cheddar. So you need to save a little cheddar for the top. This is going to be nice and cheesy. So now I'm doing the same thing. I'm putting 2 tortillas, just like that, squishing it down a bit, and a layer of that chicken tomato potato mix. I usually have some left over at the end. You know, you could add peppers to this. You can have beef instead of chicken. If you omit the cheese and take out the chicken, you can probably make it vegan, or at least vegetarian, and keep the cheese in, because I think the cheese is one of the stars of this dish. So now, some more of that beautiful cheddar cheese. My dog is right by my side, my hound dog, waiting for fallout. And he just got some. I dropped a piece of cheese on the ground and he went right for it. Okay, one tortilla on the top and the rest of my cheddar. All right. All right, I'm just going to clean up the edges a little bit, because if you have sauce or cheese stuck on the edges, they could burn. Just clean that up a little. And I'm going to put that in my oven for 25 minutes uncovered until it's all bubbly and smelling divine. Well, my timer went off at the 25-minute mark, and I've got the broiler on now so I can get that cheese nice and browned on the top. Just keep an eye on the top layer of the tortilla because you don't want it to burn. Look at that. My Mexican chicken lasagna is ready. I took it out a little early because the little pieces of tortilla on the top started to burn. So I did get some caramelization on the cheese on the top, so I'm pretty happy about that. Now I have to let that cool for a little bit. It's already very difficult to cut, but it will be next to impossible if you try to cut it while it's hot like this. Doesn't that look delicious? I told you, my friends, it's a great comfort food meal. A little sour cream is a great addition to this delicious dish. I hope you enjoyed this, my friends. Please leave a like and subscribe, and do leave me a comment. I love to read them and I love to reply to them. So we'll see you next time on Rain's Kitchen and Garden. Bye.